or something. Schlange ist doch nicht so wie gedacht. Yeah!
Perfect, okay. Now, next up, let me see. I have Jasper.
That was great, man. Thank you. Yours is fantastic. Thank you, man.
Thank you very much, Game Popper. Did you get your sticker? It's somewhere under here.
I'm doing the schedule to overlapping maybe I can see
ja letztes Jahr was zeigen. Ja, letztes Jahr war das auch schon mal. Und das hat die mussten am Ende Leute rausschmeißen. Das war zu eng geworden. Die gehen echt alle hin. Scheiße.
Ist das A61 Quiz?
Vergessen. Nee.
So groß ist der auch nicht.
So groß.
Ich will der Bewegungsgefühl da reingehen. Frei.
Pikachu is the what most popular Pokemon? And reveal 2 7s and 2 3s. I can tell you that Pikachu is the 3rd most popular. I can tell you that Lucario is the most popular Pokemon, but what percent of Pokemon posts have Lucario in them? 6%? 13%, 22%, or 48%?
Yeah, no, at least 48 on ground. It has to be.
And reveal 13, 22, 48. I'm afraid there's points for no one there. It's only 6%. Moving from Pokemon to their trainers. Who's the most popular trainer? Is it Ash, Misty, or Jessie Team Rocket? Some of these tags are slightly changed, like the actual tag for Jessie is Jessie_Team Rocket. This is not a trick question. So if you think your tag, oh no, that's a trick question, that's not the actual way Jessie's tag is spelled, I'm not trying to trick you. Just I'm not sure whether this is good or bad, but unfortunately no points at all. It's Ash Ketchum again. Which Pokemon is National Dex number 69? Reveal. One Arcanine, 3 tentacles, it's Bellsprout. 21 or 11,245. I'm going to let you think about that for about 5 seconds.
Across the wider internet, the Vaporeon Copy Pasta is the 4th most popular, right behind Navy SEAL Copy Pasta, several forms of Creepy Pasta, and Linguini.
Hands up for 1,021. Hands up for 11,245. It's 199.
Terribly sorry, but I have to interrupt for a second here. The game show is sadly much too popular, and I have to ask everybody of you who's not sitting on a chair to leave the room immediately. If you don't sitting on a chair, you have to leave, or we have to cancel the panel. Sorry.
How do you get a group of protogens onto a bus?
How do you get a group of protogens onto a bus?
You ram them on. These jokes, they're really starting to drag on.
One last one.
How long does it take for an EV to evolve? Absolutely eons.
In this room, orange of all. Hands up if you're into vor. Do we want to have any more hands up for the people who are a little shy? There we go, thank you. Keep your hands up, please.
I saw some of you put your hands down again.
Okay, keep your hands up, please, even if I count you. 57, two 150s, a 251 and a 179. On my side, there were 45. On that side, there were 55. So that is a very even 100 of you. Which means that I believe the closest number there was 57.
Road, hasn't it? We've seen things that we're into, we've seen things that we're not into, and we have seen many people prove to us today just how degenerate they are. Thank you. Before I announce the winner, give it up for our finalists! You spent many hours alone at night at your laptops to get here today, but I'm sorry to say that there is a winner. Was slightly more popular by a few posts.
But that bonus round I mentioned, step forward, Jazz. With 69,000, we have a champion in North!
How does it feel?
Probably I'd like to thank my mum, my dad.
And the quick prize for the bonus round is, of course, a beautiful bag of monosodium glutamate. That was a listen taking through the airport. 3 4s. Game show. It's Jazz. Thank you very much to everyone who helped the game show.
All weekend long, people have been asking me about this, and this is the answer I've given. So now I will tell you, don't ever get old. I was taking off my sock and broke my finger doing it. It wasn't the bone. There are 2 tendons in the finger, one on the top, one on the bottom, that lets you bend it and straighten it. The one on top that straightens it had snapped in this process, so my finger was like stuck this way, just like that. So I immediately dropped it into a very cold glass of wine. Well, you ice down an injury. The wine was cold, so I went to the supermarket like this with my finger in a glass of wine, and I bought a splint to put on it to keep it still. And the next day, I went in to see the doctor. American. I went in to see the doctor, and I said, "Dude, I got this thing do you have like some like finger Viagra that I can like that sort of thing there? He said, well, I got the regular kind. I said, oh, okay, I'll take that too, but I really. So he fashioned this splint, this piece of plastic with 2 Velcro strips around it to hold the joint straight so that the tendon could knit. Over $1,000. Thank you, America. I wore the damn thing for 2 months, and I went back, and the finger was still kind of, Viagra style, and he said, don't worry, let's see how it does. Well, I really needed that Viagra. I mean, the finger Viagra is what I meant, not the other. I want to make sure we're clear on that, okay? So I decided to go to a different doctor, because it's sort of like if you go to an auto mechanic, because there's smoke coming out of your engine, and then when you pick up the car, there's still smoke coming out of the engine, and he says, that'll be $1,000, please. And you say, well, what about the smoke coming out of the engine? And he says, well, let's see if it stops on its own. When I put the condom on to keep the finger dry, every morning I made sure I was using the next serial number in the slide. Okay, if I'm starting with serial number ending in 03, the next day it has to be serial number ending in 04. You know where to put the serial number, right? No? I guess you're never going to go there. That's an old joke. That goes back to my day. So, yeah, that's why this is on here. I cannot bend the finger. I probably could, but then I'd be reminded there's a metal spike in it and you'd hear about it. I was just telling somebody, in fact, a story that goes back to when Eurofurence was in Nürnberg. It was a youth hostel that was there, and the shower was designed to save water. You would push a button on the wall, and it would spritz exactly 30 seconds of warm water, and then stop. You would have to push it again to get another 30 seconds of warm water, and then it would stop. If you push it a third time, you get another 30 seconds, but it's not warm. One thing that I've learned from Germany is that you guys have 2 water sources. One is a pipe that goes directly to the Arctic Circle, and the other goes to the molten core of the Earth. You know what I'm talking about. If memory serves, I do believe it was my old friend BBF that told me he was sharing a room with somebody on the opposite side of the castle, and they were woken up, and the roommate sat up, bolt upright in bed, and said, what was that? And BBF said, I don't know, but it's English and loud. I think it's Kage. I try not to lose my temper. I really try. Although I have been the chairman of currently the world's largest furry convention for 25 years, sometimes that's going to happen. For those of you who have been the target of it, I apologize deeply. I will see to it your families are taken care of in the rest. We have riverboat cruises at Epcot, and some of them are themed. One of them was a cocktail cruise. The programming director insisted Uncle Kage needs to go on the cocktail cruise. And I said, I don't want to go on the fucking cocktail cruise. I need to be here in case something goes wrong. And he said, we can take care of it. And I said, there are some things that I would only risk myself going to jail for. Everybody laughed as a convention chairman, I can tell. He was insistent. The cocktail cruise must have Uncle Kage. And I said, Uncle Kage would not have any fun. He'll be out there pacing on the deck, worried because you can't just dive overboard and swim to shore. But he finally won. And I said, all right, one condition, one single condition. There had better be a fucking bottle of Riesling on that boat. And he said, I'll see to it. And as I was boarding, I said to the person that was letting people on, I said, up there, next to the pilot house, there's this little thing that extends out. That's called the bridge wing. And I said, do you think the captain would let me stand on the starboard bridge wing and wave to people as we leave? And then I said, I don't know, that's We usually don't let anybody up near the pilot house, but let me ask. He came down a minute later looking very shocked. He said, the captain said, yes, I'm told to escort you up. So he escorted me up. I brought the Herr Uber tourist with me to take photos. And the captain introduced himself to me, and he said, normally we don't allow passengers up here, but you knew what a starboard bridge wing was, so I figured you were cool. And everybody who knew me did this. I said, fuck is this? And I went back to the lady and I said, the fuck is this? She said, that's Sauvignon Blanc. You guys here last year for Frenchie with his Gewürztraminer is the same as Riesling? He's out of business now, by the way. I did that. I said, this, I asked for Riesling. He said, we don't have any. Andre saved my life because he saw me going to the rail saying it's only 50 yards ashore. I can do it. He pulled me back on, kept me calm as this kind of calm. Somewhere in the Emprecon staff chat, which I only use during the convention, I hate this instant messenger stuff, there is, in all caps, separate message for each one. There is no fucking Riesling on this boat. The programming director hid from me. For the rest of the convention, I never saw him, but in his defense, after the convention, he did some investigating. It turns out he had made the arrangement as promised. There was a bottle of Riesling on that boat. The instructions were to give it to Dr. Conway. And the person who owned the boat said, well, we didn't know who that was. I didn't like that boat anyway. That makes a special vintage of sake just for the convention. It's my kind of place. But before that, we spent the day in Tokyo. Boy, Tokyo was nice. Let's look at this amazing architecture and, oh, here is a historical, whatever. No. Ronnie wanted to go, he wanted to go to the Nintendo store, the Pokemon store, the gaming, this and that store, the Donkey Kong store, I don't know what the hell. He's running from one, otaku store to another, dragging me along. Something that I could not help noticing. He would run in and I'd say, I'll wait out here. I'll be fine. I don't want to contribute to the crowd. So I'd go in and I'd sit down and I would notice there was always 7 or 8 men my age, all sitting out there like this. And we would all pass the same sort of meaningful glance. I think that must be the culture over there. We went to Akihabara. Look it up if you don't know what I mean. Akihabara is where all of the gamer kids go. It's where all the otakus wind up. And I was dragging a little bit, and Ronnie said, are you okay? I said, yes. I just want some coffee. Can we stop at a coffee shop, please? She said, okay. I'll look for one on Google. So here we are in Akihabara, and he puts in cafe. The first one we went to, for some reason, had an 8-hour waiting list. And Ronnie said, do you want to wait? I said, if the coffee doesn't come with a blowjob, no. To have some drinks. Okay, great. But they didn't stop me. And I wasn't just drinking wine. Normally I stick to wine, but this was good shit. Gute Scheiße, I think it was. By the end of the night, I thought that it would be a good idea to take a large glass about twice this size and fill it with equal parts red wine, Jägermeister, and absinthe. When I woke up the next morning, I was dead. I'm serious, decomposition, rigor mortis, everything. There was even mold growing on my skin. We were once again in a youth hostel, and I was sharing the room with Gideon at the time. He's an old friend of mine. You might know the name Gideon. If you do, he's a big name in furry family. That's a fan, actually.
Really big.
I was in the top bunk, Gideon was in the bottom bunk. He woke up to hear me dying. And he kind of poked aside and said, "Are you all right?" I said, "No." At some time last night, I must have rolled out of the bunk and landed on my head on the concrete floor, and I fractured my skull. And he said, "Well, no, I'm pretty sure you didn't move all night long. In fact, there were a couple of times I had to make sure you were still breathing." I slid my legs down to the floor, and I don't know if you've been in that circumstance, where not only is your brain trying to claw its way through the skull, but your stomach thinks it can still help by getting rid of anything that might be lingering. And you start doing this. And I'm going and I'm starting to put on the shirt and the tie and the lab coat. And Gideon said, "Dude, what the hell are you doing? You should stay here and stay in bed." I said, I got programming, I got a job to do. So I got myself dressed. I went downstairs to breakfast. I do love Germany. I love this country. In that condition, I do not love the fact that your breakfast consists of 83 different varieties of boiled pig. Maybe I'll just have some coffee. So I went and I said, sat down, poured some coffee, reached for the sugar, and that's when I met Thor, the thunder god. Thor, are you out there? You heard him. He's actually in Berlin right now. Because he sat down and said, "Oh, do you mind if I sit here?" I reached for the sugar. I started to pour the sugar. And Thor, being very friendly, decided to make conversation. "Oh, you know, there are places in Denmark we put salt in coffee." I was EF10. This is 28. My first was EF8, wasn't it? You telling me I've been doing this 20 years? You keep bringing me back. Shit.
Don't even know your name. I don't even know your name. I don't even know your name. So far away, so far away. Could I have you stay? So far away, so far away. Now I'm the one you play. So far away, so far away. Could I have made you stay? So far away, so far away. Now I'm the one you play. Sounds weird, but it's true. No, I love what's going on the internet. Sounds weird, but it's true. I don't even know your name. 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 Thank you!
This is my last song. It's an original game. Last year I booked a cottage in the middle of nowhere on my own, and I went there with a list of questions that I wanted to ask myself, what I want to do with the next 60 years of my life, because we're all gonna die. I'm not sure if you knew that, yeah. And I went there with a list of questions and a bottle of red wine, and 3 days I confronted myself with that. And I wasn't planning to write a song, but it kind of happened. So the song is called Night in the Woods. I got 60 years to
and I can't even pay electricity bill. Got another 10 years to feel young again. So I'm sleeping around and I'm swallowing pills. My head is a mess. My head is a mess. I watch cars go by at the motorway station. I watch life go by on the videotape. Spends the night in the woods to find direction. But I don't know where to go. I don't know where to go. I'll probably press Mom goes down and my friends all left. A pine tree swaying and I hate myself. Keep dreaming of the apocalypse. The internet says it means I'm scared. My head is a mess. I watch cars go by on the motorway station. I watch life go by on the videotape. Spend the night in the woods to find direction. But I don't know where to go. I don't know where to go. Maybe it's all in my head. All in my head. All in my head. I'll never be anyone. I'll never be anywhere but here. Maybe it's all in my head. All in my head. All in my head. I'll never be anyone. I'll never be anywhere but here. I watch cars go by on the motorway station. I watch life go by on the videotape. Spend some nights in the woods to find direction. But I don't know where to go, yeah. I don't know where to go, Maybe it's all in my head, all in my head, all in my head. I'll never be anyone, and I'll never be anywhere but here. Maybe it's all in my head, all in my head, all in my head. I'll never be anyone, and I'll never be anywhere but here. Yeah.
Probably. Yeah, okay. They just say that they were on the first round because they were standing. They had to leave after winning the first round. That's yeah. Amazing group name. Yes, gangbang. Yeah, I won. Yeah, I won. I did so bad actually.
got another drug.
Alright, let's go, your friends. Come on, pop it up.
I've been on my own for long enough. When you can show me how to love me. Going through the cross, you don't even have to do too much. You can tell me on just a touch, baby. It's cold and empty. No one's around to judge me. I can see clearly when you're gone. I said, ooh, I'm blinded by the light. to take your breath away, and you feel yourself suffocating. Does the pain weigh out the pride, and you look for a place to hide? Did someone break your heart inside? You're in ruins. 121 guns, lay down your arms and give up the fight. Yeah, 121 guns, throw up your arms into the sky. You and I. Get it! Woo! Wanna sing? Just join in, just scream. When it's time to live and let die, and you can't get another try, something inside this heart has died. You're in ruins. 121 guns, lay down your arms and give up the fight. 121 guns, throw up your arms into the sky. 121 guns, lay down your arms, give up the fight. 121 guns, throw up your arms into the sky. For you and I. Let's go!
Oh no! 1080i meets HD.
More like Full HD.
1080i trifft HD, super. Oh.
No, I was just... Are you going up? I'm busy.
night.